we're going for a meta strategy this time around. So in the previous few episodes, obviously talking about Redall, I was able to show you the kind of basics of the game, the basics of build order, proper build order, proper play and counterplay, proper scouting. Oh, a little bit of a surprise at the bottom right there. That might be spoiling the next candidate for our long-running series, Area Not Kantos reviews, featuring Sergio. Red Alert 3 is the seventh game in the Command & Conquer franchise overall, not counting some of the mobile tie-ins, but as I said, we're going for a meta strategy today. I just wanted to kind of show you what I like to call Big Head Collector. And there's two kind of principles to the strategy, really. The first is the Big Head, which is the kind of axis around which the whole strategy revolves. The Big Head is just, it's kind of an unstoppable super unit. The power of a Big Head really can't be underestimated. It draws fire from things that would otherwise, just seek to destroy your base, destroy your units, destroy, your heart and soul of your nation, in this case, the glorious nation of Nihon. The other part, of course, is the Collector, Big Head Collector. So the nice thing about collectors in Red Alert 2, it was the Russian collectors that you could use for the strategy. There wasn't actually a head in Red Alert 2, so it was just called Big Collector. The head was added for this game, but the collector in the Soviet Ore Collector, in this case the Nihon no Ore Collector, has a gun attached for self-defense. There's not really such thing as a self-defense gun, I'm sure. My news. And what that kind of all means is that you can actually just spam ore collectors. You don't actually need any other units to win, because you see every unit that you produce, it's a mathematical equation, right? Every unit you produce which is not an ore collector is therefore not collecting ore, which is what produces money in the game, which is what you use to buy units. So the only, for maximum economic reward, risk reward, return reward, the core unit is always the ore collector. Now, an ore collector does come free with every ore collection depot, or refinery, sorry. You can see I'm building some ore collectors out now, but building ore refineries costs almost twice as much money as an ore collector, and of course has a power requirement. So you actually want to keep your number of ore refineries low, just the collector side. So I built 3 ore refineries so I could be pumping out collectors, from each of them. And then, the virtue of the strategy, of course, is that when the collectors are not in use for your attack plan, the Big Head Collector plan. In fact, no, here's a great example, right? I'm being attacked by an enemy scouted me. They've sent in, that's 400 gold wasted, right? They produced a scout unit, which was simply run over by my collector. Their scout unit is now neither scouting nor providing any kind of economic return. Right, my collector is immediately continuing to provide the economic return, although I did just drive it through like a kind of radioactive hazard field, which is just something that occurs in Red Alert 3. Ever since Einstein went back in time to kill Hitler, I think in this timeline, the premier of the Soviet Union went back in time to kill Einstein to stop him from killing Hitler, which meant that not only was there no World War II, but there was also no nuclear bomb. So it's probably not radioactive. It was MC squared, strictly waste. It's just kind of green. It's goo.
Our base is under attack.
But here again, the strategy's coming, immediately into fruition, right? Like I haven't even gotten to the offensive section of my game plan. I'm just collecting resources. The collector part of Big Head Collector, and again, that's 1,200 right there. When you add that 400 from earlier, that's 1,600. That's actually the price of a collector. A collector is 1,400. So that's something more. I'm odds on with a collector, and it's collecting. And you can see, you can have multiple collectors assigned to a refinery. The collectors are, of course, amphibious as well. Most units are non-amphibious. Most units are stuck to one of the 3, fundamental media, land, sea, air. If you're in one of those, you then can't transition to the other. So collectors are an all-purpose unit, right? They can scout, They can attack, they can defend, they can collect. You can collect out of enemy ore mines, or mines only have a preset number of ores in them. Now this is important, this is the big head. So you can see the big head requires several preparation steps. We have to first deploy the big head in the water. The water can support the weight of the head. You know, if you ever lie down on the bath, you know, you get that sensation that your head is floating, right? Which in the air, your head is weighing down upon you, so the head needs to be constructed in the water. But now it's in the air. Again, it's one of the rare units, so again, collectors can move in the land or the sea. The head can move in the sea or the air. That's between the, you know, there's three media. They're all covered by the strategy. There's no weak points. Your classic Scout Rush, your classic Zerg Rush, your classic Militia Rush, your classic Knight, your Fast Castle, all of those are limited to just one dimension, unlike Big Head Collector. And all those collectors were collecting resources, right, which go into the head. The head obviously is a resource-intensive unit, it's a resource sink. Much like the human body, the head consumes 50% of your energy. It can only consume sugars. And as you can see, these peasant scouts with the bows and the arrows, no match for the head. We're bringing in our collectors off the side. So those collectors were collecting resources, you know, they fueled the economy, and now it's time for them to transition into the second phase, which is the attack. And we're doing a classic. It's not a pincer. A pincer has two points. It's trident. We've got the central thrust up with the head, and the lateral pins in with the collectors. Now the big head continuing to wage destruction there. And so really, you know, even if this first attack, you know, even if they've got defenses, if they've got their own head, perhaps sometimes that happens. You have a head-to-head situation, a head-off, in which case it's just a question of whose head is best. You know, in the real world, of course, my head is the best. But in this fictional world, it's kind of a matter of, you know, statistics. You can see my collectors in the left corner there have been just tore through. The enemy collector wasn't prepared. It wasn't in attack mode. It had been set defensively. Now that's completely fine. You want to have one or two defensive collectors just getting your resources. But remember, my collectors have been getting resources this whole game and attacking. You know. Now the big head has reached the explosion part of the plan. It's normal for a big head to explode. If you've seen the film Scanners, it's this problem of the more powerful the head, the more likely there is to be a spontaneous explosion. And that was kind of prompted by, you know, by the sheer enormity of plays that I'm constructing. The AI is kind of stupid. It hasn't really realized that it's lost yet. So while it's thinking, let's turn it over to the Arcantos minute. Arcantos, what do you think of Command and Conquer: Red Alert 3 - Uprising?
What was that you said before? Something about another head? What about the other head? Bring out the head!
Enemy units detected.
Well, that's wonderful stuff, Arcantos. As always, Arcantos, you know, really knows, you know, he's been in strategy games since the beginning. You know, Age of Mythology was the first real-time strategy game. Before then, you know, games were real-time, but they weren't strategic. And as you can see, my strategies have succeeded. So I'm gonna end the stream and see you all in the after party.